What's up, guys? Tuki here, back again. Boy, for those live on Twitch, when I say back, you know what I mean. I'm still here. For those of you watching on Twitch, though, God, you know I appreciate you. Really, I do. Because it's been a lot of fun tonight. For those watching on YouTube after the fact, though, man, that's all I can say, is man. Anyway, in this episode, we take on the Washington Capitals in the third round, the Eastern Conference Final. Now, what's more surprising, the fact that Ovechkin and the Caps actually beat Pittsburgh to make it to the third round, or that we survived Ottawa and made it to the third round? There was a chance we would have seen the realistic third round of Ottawa and Pittsburgh. Didn't quite happen that way, fortunately for us, at least. The good thing here, aside from the fact that, hey, Ondrej Pavelec managed to actually win a game. Jaromir Jagr stepped up and all the fun stuff that happened in the second round in the last episode. The good thing is, Henrik Lundqvist is back. He is at 100%. Hank is back. And there's no doubt he is the starter. There's no doubt. He is the guy. He was just tearing Toronto a new one when he was originally injured. Pavelec, though, it sucks to switch off from the hot hand, right? I have to think, we have to go with the goalie who gives us the best chance to win, and that is very obviously Henrik Lundqvist. But, man, is it weird that I'm starting to trust Ondrej Pavelec? It's amazing what postseason success can do. Anyway, aside from Hank being back in, the rest of the lineup remains the same. We are going with Hank until he gives us a reason not to. And again, we were very close to switching Ondrej Pavelec out for a 76 overall goalie. Probably a good thing that we didn't. I'm not going to waste any more time, though. Let's take a look at what we are up against. Alex Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. We have the better rated offense. We have the better rated defense. We don't have the better rated goaltending. I'm not all that surprised by that number. But let's take a look. I don't recall them making any major trades or moves, but we'll see if that's the case. That is a very interesting lineup. Interesting is probably putting it kindly. Huh. All right, well, let's take a look here, shall we? The top line, and by the way, they played 12 games. They've played 12 games up to this point. The top line consists of Alex Ovechkin, centered, of course, by Nicholas Backstrom, who has 18 points in 12 games. Whoo, boy. Rounding out that top line is TJ Oshie. Jesus Christ, that top line. They're going to rip us to shreds. They are going to rip us to shreds. That top line is ridiculous. Every single one of them. For Backstrom, well over. But every single player on that top line over the point-a-game mark. Crazy. Second line, Andrei Burakovsky with 6 points. He's centered by Evgeny Kuznetsov. Only 3 assists to this point. And Brett Connolly has 6 points. And is somehow up to an 85 overall. My God. That is just ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. Now, as I always say, yeah, Kuznetsov, Burakovsky, well, Burakovsky's doing all right. Kuznetsov may be underperforming a bit, right? But that's not necessarily a good thing, because he could easily turn it on, and we would be in a boatload of trouble. So, it's promising to see someone struggling like that, but it's also kind of scary. The third line, they have Devontae Smith-Pelly. 6 goals in 12 games for the 83 overall Smith-Pelly. Oh my God. He is centered by Lars Eller, who has 10 points, and Tom Wilson has 5 points in those 12 games. Everybody on this team, aside from Kuznetsov, apparently with his 3 assists, is currently producing. And then we get to the fourth line, which is obviously interesting. You have Anthony Peluso, who is an enforcer. Of course, he'll be listed as a fourth-line guy. -2, no points. Centered by Jay Beagle, who in fairness isn't doing terribly. And then you have Zach Sill, much like Peluso, in the same spot. 1 goal is a -4. So that bottom 6 is certainly interesting. Smith Pelly having 6 goals is ridiculous. And as somebody pointed out, Ovi with 8 goals, 6 goals for Smith Pelly. Kind of strange. The defense. Not exactly their bright point, at least that third pairing. Now that I say that, they'll rip us apart. But as we get a look at the defense, the top pairing is Matt Niskanen, who's a +10, paired up with John Carlson. Who is John Carlson? I mean, he's a monster. Second pairing is Dmitry Orlov, who hasn't done too much this postseason, with Brooks Orpik. And then the third pairing, Taylor Chorney, 80 overall, with 82 overall Madison Bowie. So a bit of a weak point there. The goaltender, we already know, it's Braden Holtby. He only has a .917, which again is nice. He's struggling, right? He's not playing to his best level. But they've still made it to the Western Conference Final. Or Western Conference? The Eastern Conference Final. I apologize. No shit. Yeah, the Washington Capitals in the Western Conference. You know when you got to say 2 different things at once and you just end up saying the complete wrong thing? Yeah. Anyway. Braden Holtby is going to turn it around. That's what's going to happen. I'm sorry. I know we've won 2 series. I can't be overly confident. Because he has... Like, that's the thing, man. That's the thing. Like I just mentioned with Kuznetsov. He is struggling. But there is that potential of him turning it around. And the fact that they've made it to the conference final despite him struggling is very, very concerning. No injuries, no scratched players. That is just flat out their lineup. And whoever's down in Hershey, I'm obviously not too impressed by, considering they lost to our team. So, yeah, there's that. Guys, I can't waste any more time. We have to begin this series. And actually, here, let me go through the calendar. Henrik Lundqvist is back early, by the way. He wasn't supposed to be healthy, or fully healthy, until Game 3. Let's do this. Game 1, of course. We are on the road. We went through the Atlantic side of the bracket to get back to the Metro side of things. We play the Caps. Game 1 on the road. Let the series begin. First period is scoreless. That was anticlimactic. Outshot 11-5. Second period, a little bit more exciting. Jaromir Jagr scores. 4 seconds later, Jay Beagle. How the hell does their center get from there to the front of the net in 4 seconds? How does that happen? Somebody explain that to me. Thankfully, Michael Grabner restores that lead that we only had for 4 seconds, and we're up 2-1 at the end of the second period. Still being outshot, but we have the lead. We're looking all right. How does Jay Beagle score that quickly? I have no idea. Third period, I can't hype it up anymore. It's the Eastern Conference Final. That's enough hype in and of itself. God damn it. Can we please hold a lead for more than 30 seconds so that I can actually be excited about a goal? Zibanejad scores, Burakovsky gets it right back, and then fucking Orlov ties it. Come on. Let's not blow a 3-1 lead, shall we? Please, we had enough of that in the Ottawa series. We are tied coming down the stretch here of the third period. Light power play that we can't do anything with. Right. So again, Zibanejad made it 3-1. That was good. Good for him to get on the board. Only for Burakovsky and Dmitry Orlov to tie this game. And we're going to overtime in Game 1 after blowing a 3-1 lead. Does that sound familiar? Overtime. Don't blink. You might miss it. It could end quickly. Come on now. We need Nash. Oh, power play for the Caps. Good Lord. We're able to kill that off at least. We're 5 minutes in. Nash, Kreider, anybody. JT Miller, power play opportunity. Ryan McDonough again. The captain makes it happen again. The winner in Game 7. The winner in Game 1. Ryan McDonagh. Nerves of steel. Ice cold. Ryan McDonagh. Ice in his veins. Our captain does it again. And the Rangers avoid disaster. Captain Clutch gets the job done. We avoid disaster. And we take Game 1 on the road by the score of 4-3, despite being outshot 45-36. Unreal. McDonagh, your first star of the game. Zibanejad, the second star with a 3-point night. Orlov, with his lone goal, was the third star. And the Rangers take Game 1. Alrighty then. Who saw that coming? Not me. Not me in the slightest. We will obviously keep the lineup the same. Lundqvist stays between the pipes. Let's go. Game 2. Mission accomplished for us already. We took a game on the road to start this series. If we lose this game, yeah, it kind of sucks. But if we lose this game, it's not the end of the world. So, a little bit less pressure on us this time. First period of Game 2. That's not a great start. Dmitry Orlov waking up a little bit, which isn't great for us. Again, he didn't do too much in the first 12 games for the Caps, but he has 2 goals already in this series. They doubled us up in shots, but it's early. We still have a long way to go. Second period, can we find a way to beat Holtby? We cannot. Wow, really? We had like no shots. Taylor Chorney makes it 2-0. I said there wasn't much pressure. That still means we have to show up, you know. Being outshot 24-14. It's a 2-0 lead for the Caps as we head into the third period. Orlov and Chorney, not exactly the players that you'd expect the goals to come from. Third period starts. Is there a comeback? On the books, in the cards, say what you want. Hopefully, though, is all I'm saying. Power play for the Caps is killed off. We're halfway through the third. We have a power player of our own that we can't do anything with. And I think we're going to run out of time, guys. Trading power plays under 4 minutes to go. And that will do it. Braden Holtby. Braden Holtby strikes back. He strikes back. And the Caps take Game 2 by the score of 2-0. Not ideal. I tried to motivate the team by just saying, you know, hey, who cares, right? Who cares? As I dropped the controller. I tried to just be like, hey, no pressure. You can lose. That's all right. And the team's like, oh, okay, we can lose? Sweet, let's not try. Granted, we did have 32 shots on goal, and Braden Holtby is still Braden Holtby, and like I mentioned, just because he hasn't been doing that well heading into the series doesn't mean that he can't turn it around. I mean, he did just that in Game 2. An unfortunate loss there. We split the first 2 games of this series, though. We at least get a win on the road. And now we head back home for Games 3 and 4. But I do need to take a look. at the lineup. Because, again, we keep losing morale for recent performances. By the way, the Wild up 2-0 on the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid and the Oilers struggling just a little bit. Now, as far as the top 6 goes, Kevin Hayes still not doing a tremendous amount. Zibanejad has woken up a little bit. I really don't want to break up Jágr and Zuccarello. I mean, Jágr still deserves those top line minutes. Zuccarello with 9 points. I guess we have to figure something out here. We really do. You know what? I'm going to take a bit of a risk here. I'm going to put Zibanejad and Kreider on the top line. Yep, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And we'll have Nash, Hayes, and Zuccarello, the third and fourth lines, will stay the same. And the top 6, I mean, Jágr is really the only one delivering. I mean, 6 points for Kreider. It's not bad, but you kind of want better. 8 points for Zibanejad. Again, you'd want better. Rick Nash has been pretty damn quiet. Only 1 goal. 6 points for Hayes. 9 points for Zook. So that does really suck to take him off of the top line. But again, we are very limited with our center options. The 4 centers we have in the lineup right now, those are our only options that we have on the team. Because nobody else can play center for us, apparently. So that really sucks. As that second pairing is getting ripped apart, and that is what I was wondering. That first pairing's been great, but that second pairing is unfortunately getting ripped apart. At first, it was just Brady Shea that was struggling. Now it's Nick Holden. So, that's the thing, though. Smith and Lyles are doing really well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Brady Shea with Ryan McDonough. I'm going to put Shea with McDonough, and we'll have Shattenkirk with Nick Holden. And, of course, Henrik Lundqvist is staying. Still has a .957 save percentage. But we're going to have to hope that the offense can wake up here. And we've broken up that second defensive pairing that have been struggling, to put it nicely, for at least a bit now. So let's go. Game 3, hopefully these changes don't mess with things too much. Hopefully it can wake the team up a little bit after getting shut out in Game 2. We are back home. It is Game 3. Let's do this, shall we? Let's do this. First period. You know, I'm not saying I'm a genius. I'm just close to it. Jaromir Jágr, Matt Zuccarello gave us the 2-0 lead. Brett Connolly gets one back, only for JT Miller to score. It's a 3-1 lead, 3 goals on 9 shots for the Rangers to start this game. Jágr, Zuccarello, man. The fact that, first line, second line, third line, unless there was a power play goal, of course. But what a start to this game for the Rangers. What a way to bounce back. Unfortunately, it was just the first period. We still have a long way to go. Let's see if we can hold on, though. Second period, just maintain the lead. That's all we need. And we did just that. We still have the 2-goal lead at the end of the period. Tom Wilson made it a 3-2 game. Mika Zibanejad is on the board. 4-2 at the end of the second period. So our big names are showing up here. Jágr, Zuccarello, JT Miller, Mika Zibanejad. It's looking all right. Third period. Can we hold on? I'd love a 5th goal. I'd love an insurance goal. Let's see if we can get it. Early power play and Rick Nash. There we go. It's about goddamn time you woke up. Jesper Fast makes it 6. Eller gets a goal back, but it's 6-3 halfway through the third period. Nash gets another one on the power play. 7-3. And the New York Rangers bounce back and take a 2-1 series lead. Rick Nash, welcome to the postseason. 1 goal, if I'm not mistaken, up to this game. And he gets 2 power play goals in this goddamn game. Jesper Fast, though, congratulations on the goal. 7-3 final. After the shutout, losing 2-0 in Game 2, what a way to bounce back. 4-point night for both Jágr and Zuccarello, despite them being on separate lines. And then the 2 goals for Rick Nash. Touchdown Rangers. And the extra point. The extra point was good. Had to take that swig of Arnold Palmer. It's hot as shit in here. I cannot wait for the fall and for the winter when I can record without sweating to death. It's going to be great. Anyway, back on topic here. We have ourselves a 2-1 series lead after that ridiculous win. Now, are we going to be able to follow that up with another victory? That's the question. To be honest, I'd say just because of the way the sim engine works, the odds are, without a doubt, in the Caps' favor to win Game 4. That's typically how it works. We'll see if that's the case, because we are going to jump straight into Game 4. We have that 2-1 series lead. Can we defend home ice? Let's find out. Let's do this. First period of Game 4. And Rick Nash, welcome to the postseason. Here I am talking about, oh, if Kuznetsov wakes up. What if Holtby wakes up? What if Rick Nash wakes up? Another one for Rick Nash. And we have the 1-0 lead after the opening 20 minutes. Way to go, Rick Nash. Keep scoring goals, please. Second period, can we add to it or at least maintain the lead? Yes, we can. We can do both for that matter. JT Miller, 54 seconds into the second period. 2-0 lead for the Rangers. A very early goal for Miller. And a nothing after that. Absolutely nothing. And we are 20 minutes away from a 3-1 series lead, if you can believe it. But damn it, what a 20 minutes this is going to be. We need that third goal. We need that third goal. Let's do this. Nash and Miller have scored the goals thus far. Can we hold on? Can we find that third goal? The third goal would seal it 100%. We are halfway through the third period. Can Henrik Lundqvist shut the doors? Zibanejad gets the third goal. And the New York Rangers have a 3-1 series lead on the Washington Capitals. A 27 save shutout for the King. And it's a 3-1 lead, man. We are one game away from the Stanley Cup final. Not to jinx it. Not to jinx it. But what a performance from the King. 27 saves. Rick Nash gets another goal. The game-winning goal way back in the first period. And the Rangers are one game away from the Stanley Cup. The Manhattan Project, rather than, designing a warhead, the plan was to get Henrik Lundqvist a cup. And we might have a chance to do that in the very first season. There is no reason to make any lineup changes. We have outscored them 10-3 over the past 2 games. Game 5, back in Washington. Let's go. Let's not waste any time. 3 opportunities to end this series and to punch our ticket back to the Cup final for the first time. And let's see, what would this be then, technically? 3 years? 2014 Cup? Hasn't been that long for the Rangers, has it? It hasn't been that long. Shit, man. Let's do this. Let's do this. Game 5. First period is scoreless. A bit anticlimactic. Outshot 11-7. Second period, who will get that first goal? And it will be the Caps. Wow. Devontae Smith-Pelly and Zach Sill, of all people. Damn it. Damn it, damn it. That's not great now, is it? We are down 2-0 heading into the third. However, we've seen some comebacks, haven't we? We have seen some comebacks. Let's do this. Third period. Come on. Let's do this. Or let's not. Tom Wilson gets the goal. We have a power play. Can we get a quick one back? We can't. And the Washington Capitals aren't done yet. Shattenkirk at least breaks the shutout. We have 5 minutes to go. It would take a miracle at this point. And at the very least, we ruin the shutout. At the very least, we ruin the shutout. Shattenkirk with the goal. But the Caps battle back. and take Game 5 by the score of 3-1. I actually didn't mean to look at the stats. I saw that Buchnevich was a -2, though, which isn't great. But a 30-save performance for Holtby. And then the third line, Smith, Pelly, and Wilson, 2 points each. Shit. Really? Really? By the way, just let me clear my throat really quick, my God. Better. I feel better. Anyway, shall I talk about how John Michael Liles is out for just under a week with a concussion? That's great. No, that's great. We lose Game 5. We lose Game 5, and now we lose John Michael Liles to a concussion. Thankfully, we do have, a couple decent options, Camphor, D'Angelo, or Beragolazov, as far as who we can call up. Now, here's the thing. Liles, on paper, obviously isn't the most important defenseman, but he had been doing incredibly well with Brendan Smith on that third pairing. Goddamn. Struggling to clear my throat, man. Drinking water's not doing shit. It's not doing shit. So we could go with Camphor. Sorry, really struggling here. We could go with Camphor. We could go with D'Angelo. Or we can go with Beragolazov. Now, just judging by the stats, I'm sorry I'm scrolling through so quickly here. To me, it's Camphor or Beragolazov. Camphor is a tad bit more physical. They're pretty much equal in defensive ability. You might think I'm making a mistake here. I'm going to call up Steven Camphor. Got that little bit of extra veteran experience. Not like that really factors into it. But we are going to call up Steven Camphor. And we'll see what he can do. To be honest now, what I'm going to do, and you might think I'm a bit crazy for this, but Smith and Holden, actually Holden is doing much better now that he's with Shattenkirk. You know what? Camphor will stay with Smith then. How is Shea doing? Shea is still really struggling. Shit. All right, you know what? Brendan Smith goes with Ryan McDonough, and we'll have Brady Shea with Steven Camphor. Again, I know I've called up Beragolazov earlier in the season, but I'm looking at the defensive ability of Camphor, the physicality, the skating. The fact is, Liles isn't going to be out for too long, but I am going to go with Steven Camphor, and then Brady Shea has been pretty disappointing this postseason. Hopefully, with Camphor, he can find a way to kind of turn things around, although, I mean, put it this way, he was struggling with Ryan McDonough. So, yeah, what does that say about Brady Shea this postseason? Again, we are still up 3-2 in this series. If we lose this game, then maybe we'll take a look at calling up Beragolazov. We'll see. My hope, though, is that that is not the case. In our second opportunity to end this series, I'd like to think we're going to get the job done, and it's time to find out if that is indeed the case. Game 6 on home ice. Let's go. 60 minutes away from going back to the Stanley Cup Final. First period of Game 6. Holy shit. I mean, did either goalie show up in that first period? Oh my God. 5 goals on 17 total shots. Orlov and Oshie score less than a minute apart. Hayes makes it 2-1. Oshie makes it 3-1. And then Steven Camphor, I mean, I guess I made the right choice there, maybe. Camphor makes it 3-2 at the end of the first period. What the hell? What the hell just happened? Well, thankfully, Hayes and Camphor got us on the board, but my God. That is rough. That's a rough way to start. But we are only down by a goal. Second period, can we tie it? We cannot. Evgeny Kuznetsov makes it 4-2. Am I getting nervous at this point? Yes. Yes, I am. Third period, we are down by 2. We need to stage a comeback or we are going back to Washington for Game 7. Let's go. Third period, we need a comeback. We cannot drop 2 games in a row and go to Game 7. Come on, we can't. Please wake up. We are halfway through the third period. Oh my God. 5 minutes to go. And the Washington Capitals have taken Game 6 by the score of 4-2. And we're going to Game 7. We are going to Game 7. A 3-1 series lead is gone. We are tied at 3 apiece. And we are going to Game 7. And now I have a couple of interesting decisions to make, don't I? Lyles won't be 100% for this game, at least I can only assume. The Minnesota Wild swept the Edmonton Oilers, by the way. Who will go to the final to play mini? Can we avoid disaster? Or will the Capitals complete the comeback and finally get to the final? We, of course, will go with Hank in this game. As far as defense goes, Camphor was a plus player. I am so incredibly disappointed in Brady Shea. I am going to keep the Shattenkirk-Holden pairing together. I mean, Shattenkirk is still tearing it up anyway. And then offensively, 10 points for Kreider. And that new top line's doing all right. That second line is still a bit quiet. And to be honest, I know that third line has done really well this postseason, but desperate times call for desperate measures. We're going to put Miller with Nash and Zook. It'll be Grabner, Hayes, and Buchnevich. I think that is the best way to go. It's risky. It is risky, and you could argue, of course, putting Nash down on the third line. Shit. All right, we gotta make sure that we're good here. We're gonna go with the team that gives us the best chance to win. And you could even argue again, though, Miller has no choice but to be a center. Oh my God. So again, Jágr, 18 points, obviously top line. 10 points for Kreider, 8 for Nash, 14 for Zuccarello. Kreider's done better, though, since we've put him on the top line. So the question is, do we go with Nash, or do we go with somebody like Grabner or Buchnevich? That's the question. That is the question. Do I have faith in Rick Nash on that second line? To be honest, I don't. We are going to go with Grabner, Hayes, Nash on the third line, Buchnevich with Miller and Zuccarello, Kreider, Zibanejad, and Jágr. Of course, on defense, Camphor will stay. The defense in general will stay the same. Is this the lineup I feel gives us the best chance to win? Maybe not. But as far as who's performed this postseason, I think it's our best bet. And that's the thing, Kreider's done well now that that top line is set up the way it is. I'd almost be tempted to have JT Miller as the top line center. You know what, though? At the end of the day, I'm just delaying the inevitable. At the end of the day, you just got to play the game. We just have to play the game. No matter what the hell I do, it's just down to whether or not this team decides they actually want to win this game. Let's find out, man. Game 7 on the road in Washington. Let's do this. Let's do this, man. We need our big players to rise to the occasion. We go back to Game 7. Think of what it took to get here. Sweeping Toronto. That ridiculous comeback against Ottawa. And it comes down to this. First period of Game 7. And that is the perfect start. Courtesy of the fourth line, David Desharnais, and then Jesper Fast, who scored from center ice. From center goddamn ice. And the Rangers have a 2-0 lead at the end of the first period after outshooting them 13-5. What the hell? You could not ask. You could not ask for a better start. The question is, can we follow up on it? Can we maintain the lead in the second period? Let's find out. And we held them. We held them. They really caught up in shots, too. That was a pretty dominant period for the Caps. But we still have that 2-0 lead intact. Game 7. We are 20 minutes away. 20 damn minutes away. Damn it. Damn it. And by the way, anytime I mute the mic, it's because I just can't hold off on coughing anymore. And I apologize for that. Holy shit, third period. I can't hype it up. It is what it is. This is the third period of the fucking Eastern Conference Final. The winner goes to the Stanley Cup to play Washington. To play Washington? I fucking hope not. To play Minnesota. I meant to say the Wild, but I'm so focused on Washington. I'm just making a fool of myself, so let me hit the button. Let's go. Third period. Please get an insurance goal. If we can get that third goal, we're fine. I believe in Henrik Lundqvist, although I probably just jinxed you. We are halfway through the third. 7 minutes to go. Henrik Lundqvist shuts the door. The Washington Capitals have been eliminated. The New York Rangers avoid disaster. We don't blow the 3-1 lead. We don't blow in general. We're good enough that we are going back to the Stanley Cup Final. We may have blown the 3-1 lead technically, but at the very least, we get the job done. And we are going back to the goddamn Stanley Cup Final, where we will play the Minnesota Wild, who, by the way, thankfully, there's not an endurance system in this game, because needless to say, the Wild would be pretty damn fresh right now, as they got to sit back and watch this series play out. But we are going back to the Stanley Cup Final. Again, this is year 1. This is year 1, and we've made it to the Cup Final. Think about this season. Think about this season, where we dominated for the majority of the first half of the season. Second half of the season, we couldn't win a game. We lost 10 games straight, if not more. We could not win a game. We barely make it into the playoffs. We make it as the 8th seed. We sweep the number 1 seed Maple Leafs. We survive 7 games against Ottawa. We survive 7 games against the Capitals. And now we are going to the Cup Final. Oh my God, to take on the Minnesota Wild. But Henrik Lundqvist. There were questions. Do we go with the hot hand in Pavlik? Or do we go with Henrik Lundqvist? That was the question. We go with Henrik. And a 25 save shutout in Game 7 proves that we made the right decision. Jesper Fast, I believe it's the GWG. Actually, no, it would have been Desharnais. So I'm surprised Fast was the second star of the game. Oh my God. We are going to the Cup Final to take on Minnesota. Of course they have home ice advantage. They've lost 3 games. They've lost 3 games up to this point. Of course, we will take a look at their lineup. We will take a look at their lineup to start the next episode. They won 52 games in the regular season. Which, by the way, where did they finish league-wise? Where did they finish? Oh! Good! They won the President's Trophy. So not only did we have to go through the first seed in the East, in the Stanley Cup Final, we take on the President's Trophy winning Minnesota Wild, who have only lost 3 games to this point. I am dreading this next episode. Absolutely dreading it. As you get a look at the lineup, Chris Kreider, only 2 goals, 10 points. He has woken up a little bit since we put him on the top line. But we'll see. He has to have a very strong start to this series or he will be demoted. Mika Zibanejad, 11 points isn't terrible, but we need more out of him. Jaromir Jagr, 18 points. What a beast. Sign him up to try. I mean, we could have gone with a Ginla and Doan. Instead, we went for the big-time free agent signing at the beginning of the season. And at the beginning of this series, we went with Jaromir Jagr. And he has been leading the way. Pavel Buchnevich, 11 points. Not too bad at all for someone who's been on the third line for the majority of the postseason. 16 points for JT Miller, who could very well be put on the top line. If we do drop Kreider from the top line, like the top line to start the next series or at some point in the Cup Final could very well be Jagr, Miller, Zuccarello. It could very well be, and that would be a hell of a top line, but that could very well be the case. Speaking of Zuccarello, 14 points this postseason. On the third line, Michael Grabner doing extremely well. Kevin Hayes has been extremely disappointing. And Rick Nash, somewhat disappointing, but I'm not going to drop him down to the fourth line. They're at least third line caliber. Speaking of the fourth line, though, 8 points for VZ, 5 for Desharnais. His lone goal of the postseason clinches the goddamn series against the Capitals, and then Jesper Fast hasn't been doing too bad either. I don't know, maybe you could argue dropping Hayes and Nash down to the fourth line. Probably not. I'm just saying. Then, of course, on defense, we'll have John Michael Lyles back soon. Smith hasn't been awful. Ryan McDonough, captain clutch throughout this entire postseason. Nick Holden hasn't done much. Kevin Shattenkirk, though, has been great. Brady Shea has been pretty disappointing. And Steven Kampfer steps in for Lyles and has done fairly well to this point. And then there's this guy, Henrik Lundqvist, a .941 save percentage, 10 appearances, 7 wins, 4 shutouts, leading the way. Pavlik helped get us here, but Lundqvist gets the job done in the conference final against Washington, and that leads us to the next episode, the Stanley Cup Final, where we will take on the Minnesota Wild. Again, we will look at their team at the beginning of the next episode. And that will do it for this one. For those on Twitch, of course, stick around. For those watching on YouTube after the fact, of course, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, you know what to do to keep following along, to support the channel, all that happy horse shit. I don't need to tell you everything. Smash that like button, am I right? No. Thank you guys, as always, though, so much for watching and supporting the channel. And I'll see you guys in the Stanley Cup Final.